All right, let's see if the year of the squeeze is still squeezing that crypto space there with Laddie Williams.
Well, yeah, it's still squeezed, at this point.
Laddie, I see 19.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
an improvement.
I think this calls for an applause.
Exactly, because I've not seen 19 in a while.
We've been at 4, we've been at 10 for so long.
So long.
That's seeing 19.
Yeah, even though it's still extreme fear.
Even though it's still extreme fear, but
it's an improvement.
It's subtle extreme fear.
Exactly. But I don't know when we will see greed again.
Let's be hopeful. Let's keep hope alive.
But it'll be very interesting to see to see that happen. Let's look at the market cap now. We see it's $917.19 billion. It's up 5.83%. We're seeing the market quite green today with a couple of altcoins having double-digit gains. We're seeing Bitcoin there above $20,000. So it's looking good in this market. We're seeing a lot of buying pressure right now. 24-hour volume traded in the total crypto space is up 54.36%. And we see Bitcoin dominance 42.36% this morning. And price of Bitcoin, $20,363, up 6.43%. It is get as high as $20,400, but we have that resistance at 20,500. Was trading at 19,000. We saw that big spike there, about a 6% move there by Bitcoin. Volume traded $23.83 billion. And we see the king of the altcoins is not left out in this move. We see it's up 10.89% at $1,163. We've seen this $1,000 mark hold well for Ethereum for a few weeks now. Volume traded $14.92 billion. And looking at the top odds by market cap is all green on that count. It's quite a green Tuesday we're seeing. But fast forward to Thursday, we'll be seeing if this momentum is maintained. Let's bring in Amaury Sachet now, eCash creator. Hello, Amaury. Hello, Amaury. Great to have you. Yeah, so Amaury, there's been conversations about DeFi, decentralized finance for a while now, and we've seen a lot of these platforms spring up, promising decentralized finance. And we've seen Bitcoin dominance actually tending downwards. Some analysts say it's because of these other platforms coming up. That's why we're seeing, Bitcoin dominance go down. How do you see it?
Yeah, so you got to keep in mind that in the beginning of crypto, there was only Bitcoin, right? So dominance was 100%. And from there is only one direction you can go, right? Unfortunately, it's down. As more and more platforms emerge, then we should expect that dominance to go down. Though we need to keep in mind when we go to those other platforms that almost all of them are more risky than Bitcoin, right? Like even though we can expect some of them to perdure over time and take some of that market dominance from Bitcoin, we don't know which one ahead of time, right? So Bitcoin remained, like the safest asset in the space. And yeah, that's how it is, right? And the safer it is, the lower the return usually. So, that's how it works in any market, and the crypto market is not an exception.
Okay, but do you think we'll see like DeFi on Bitcoin's network or any of the forks of Bitcoin? Is that possible?
On Bitcoin itself, it's very unlikely because the capabilities in terms of smart contract are quite different. On some of the fork of Bitcoin, we're gonna see that eventually. I know that it's in the roadmap for eCash, for instance, but it works in. So the way it works is that you create an EVM-based system, and then you create a bridge between the EVM and the main chain. You cannot really do that on the main chain in a Bitcoin-style system, and the Bitcoin BTC crowd is, not very adamant to this kind of construct. So this is unlikely that this is going to emerge on BTC.
Quite interesting, and it seems like it's only decentralized, platforms that can actually give out like DeFi products at this point.
Yeah, it's mostly. It's mostly a regulatory reason. If you want to provide this kind of product as a centralized company, you need to be registered in many jurisdictions, comply with a lot of different regulations. And this is a huge barrier to entry, right? And as a result, it's not so easy to launch this kind of service. Obviously, some companies are doing it, but the pace of innovation cannot be as great, right? And What we see in the DeFi space is by going decentralized, many of those requirements don't need to be jumped through, right? The flip side of that, though, is that it's a much more risky market than the traditional one because, less regulation means faster innovation, but greater risk as well.
And talking about, regulation, we know we have, a couple of these platforms that are decentralized. They don't have a leader, they don't have a CEO, but most of the projects in the market, they have CEOs. But let's say 10 years from now, do you see more of decentralized platforms, standing the test of time?
Yes, but it's difficult to know which one at this time, right? Some of them, like the one that are actually decentralized, well, they may have a leader, they may have a CEO or whatever right now, but they can persist without it, right? The one that, pretend to be decentralized, but actually are not, they are not gonna survive, this kind of event. And it's quite difficult to know which one is which one because you have to delve deeply into the detail, the technical detail of how the things is constructed. And, most people don't have the skill to do that, but also the people who have the skill to do that usually are too busy to actually be able to do it for all the projects in the space. So it's going to be...
It'll be something to
It's going to be difficult to guess which one right now, right? Like exactly. Some of them will be, but it's very difficult to know ahead of time which.
Because a couple of these coins that were present in 2017, most of them are nowhere to be found, right now, talking about some of those centralized projects. But, it's been a tough first half, for the crypto market and, global equities. What can we expect for XEC, going into the second half of 2022?
Well, what we've seen for XCC specifically is that it's been affected by the downturn, but maybe not as much as some other crypto. And one of the reasons is that we didn't have the kind of leverage construct that existed on Ethereum and stuff like that, where people lend money to reinvest, to relend, to reinvest, to relend, right? Which allows great gain, but, it cut both ways, right? So when it goes down really dramatically. So, what we do at eCash is focus on the fundamental, and hopefully, this is what can provide long-term value because all those like lending and trading, they create value on the short term, but they don't create like fundamentals. And so as a result, what comes up must go down, right? So with eCash, we really want to focus on the fundamental and build value over time.
Right. Talking about building. Thank you so much, Amaury Sachet, eCash creator. It was great having you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now let's head back to the markets. Now we see top also market cap is all green there with BNB there, $234, up 8.65%. XRP 32 cents, up 3.94%. And we see there's double-digit gains on the top 5 gainers there with CVX up 23%. And we see Matic there, 54 cents, up 16%. And Sandbox and Engine, those play-to-earn platforms back on the top gainers list, up 15 and 13.74%. And top 5 losers quite lean. We're seeing stable coins there showing that traders are moving away from stable coins into most of this cryptocurrency. So they call it the bear market rallies, but they're quite profitable.
Yeah, we see that. But one thing that caught my attention in your conversation with Amaury is the threat to the dominance of Bitcoin. Yeah. I wonder how, the new phase, if I could put it that way, right, of cryptocurrency, if the dominance of Bitcoin reduces, as
we've seen Bitcoin dominance, go down in the past, but somehow it always, gets back that dominance and, get that rally before the altcoins start to follow. So the dominance is there, but it will always be challenged by all these altcoins at some point.
Yeah, because change is the only constant thing in life anyway.
Exactly. Who knows what's going to happen in the next 10 years in this market?
Yeah, I might just create a coin that would...
Why not? Any coin.